No.
Alright, so now for the rebuttals. I'm going to touch on what he said regarding the Death with Dignity Act that's in Oregon, the hoping to, for California to vote for this law, I would say, and the benefits for the terminally ill in terms of ending their lives, that they have a lot of pain and whatnot. It's true, the Death with Dignity Act, that the terminally ill are killed, yet, and it does not consider suicide. However, they are only given a prescription for what, for the doses or the drugs that they need. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will take it, or that they feel like they will take it, or even if they have the energy to take it. According to Michael Gloth from the Assisted Suicide and Healthcare Decisions, he goes on by saying that most terminally ill patients who wish to commit suicide want to accomplish by medical means, non-violently as well, suicide by self-administered drugs. However, it is not easy to accomplish, which is what I bring up in the sense that they are only given the prescription. If they don't feel like they want to take the drug, or if they can't, then they won't, and they may end up having it worse. He goes on also by saying that failed attempts can cause greater trauma for the patient and caregivers than the natural cause of the disease itself, since they would possibly stop taking normal medication that they would on a daily basis for any disease or terminal illness that they might have to slow it down, since they completely cut it off. This wouldn't work, and it might increase it might increase the devastating effects that lead up to their untimely demise. Going to the voting process for California, as I stated before in my previous argument, California, it's been left for them to a referendum. 45 out of 50 states consider it a crime. 39 of those states, it's written legally by law. Yeah, like I said before, in addition to, he goes on also later on in his article, in addition to Oregon, 4 states, Michigan, Washington, California, and Maine have just put the issue to physician-assisted suicide to a referendum. So whether or not we actually get this involved, the people would have to decide themselves. And for the final point, whether or not it benefits the terminally ill, for that it ends their lives quicker and relieves them of pain, he makes a point on his article that the more compelling arguments versus PAS about avoiding great pain and suffering do not seem to be motivating requests for physician-assisted suicide in Oregon. Based on current evidence, people seeking physician-assisted suicide they are more often concerned about loss of an autonomy and control. So just whether or not they are actually able to perform life. This finding is supported by a report from the Oregon Health Division's 5th annual report on Oregon's Death with Dignity Act, indicating that the dominant reasons for requesting physician-assisted suicide were loss of autonomy at 84%, decreasing ability to participate in activities that make life enjoyable, another 84%, and losing control of bodily functions at 47%. And to bring it all home here, Rita Marker, also on the website for assisted suicide and healthcare decision, she goes on with saying that suicide is always as morally objectionable as murder. To concur with the evident intention of another person to commit suicide and to help in carrying it out through so-called assisted suicide means to cooperate in and at times be the actual perpetrator of an injustice which can never be excused even when it is requested. So the thought altogether of physician-assisted suicide is morally wrong and should not be pursued.